This Ram Rider army is absolutely unstoppable in Town Hall 17, so we're gonna dive in and see how we crush these bases. Welcome back to Blueprint, and guys, this is the army we will be using today, and I'm gonna give you an introduction to it because some parts of this army is quite new to some people. It might be, I don't know, but if you wish to, you can skip through the introduction and get into the first attack. But this army is going to include the Royal Champion Charge, which we're gonna use the haste wall so she can get more value, and we're gonna recall her. That is the first step. The next step, what we're gonna do is to drop the king and queen here together with a golem, and sometimes the mini warden. Sometimes you can add it to the main army, but usually I try to add it with the main queen and king values. And then as a wall breaker, we're gonna be using the giant, like this one. I don't know what his actually name is, the giant thrower, because with one ball it technically opens 2 walls, so you can open 2 layers if you have a good angle. That way king and queen can get more value with their equipment, and then we're gonna spam the rest of these troops down the base. So we're gonna dive into some of these attacks and let's see how things work out. Here we are on the first base, and we're gonna have an invisibility tower in the core with a poison tower here and the giga bomb. So what I do usually on these bases, which are quite like a box space, I try to go from the middle, which is the opposite side of the town hall, and then just grab some value, how much ever I can. It doesn't need to be perfect, it doesn't even need to be much. And as you can see right now, this is where you can redirect the RC into the multi-inferno so she can grab some extra value and technically grab an extra compartment. So once she's doing all this stuff, you're gonna see what happens here, because yes, there is so much trap. So I'm like, you know what, the last invisibility doesn't really matter. I'm gonna recall the RC, and just like how we attack with Root Riders here, we're gonna just dive in with the Sui. So let this sink in. We're gonna dive the Sui right around the side where the RC finished off. So that would be either from the left, which we had a ricochet cannon, so I didn't really want to go into it, and the right side had less damage and a higher chance of this defense pulling my king into the core. You're gonna see what happens right here, because this is absolutely amazing how this defense works with the king's abilities. Getting that king into the core, popping his ability, getting the town hall, and now we spam. We're gonna go into this base with some clean up wizards. Always have some extra ram riders, 3 or 4 on the sides, just to narrow down the path. Headhunters are full in this army, make sure you use them for each hero, and technically yes, you have to use it for king and minion prince, but still you have that poison lizard, and as you can see, a beautiful rage warden ability combo into the last kind of, I would say, high damage area. And for the back end, you got spells. You got invisibility spell, which you may have not used for the RC. You got the free spells, and for the poison spell, obviously you need to drop them on the enemy clan castles. But if you missed it, if you forgot about it, if the king and queen took care of them, or maybe it's even empty, you can keep the poison for a part of the base where there might be Teslas and skeleton traps. And guys, look at the amount of ram riders and heroes we got, and troops overall. It's crazy how this strategy is so powerful. But let's move on to another base style. So up next, we're gonna have a bit more deeper of a town hall, maybe quite the same, but this is like a mix of a box space and another type of face, which is the ring. But what I do now is to just simply grab whatever is like in front of the town hall here, because the other side looks a lot like it could be baited. Not like the last one where you guys saw, it's not looking like it would be baited. This side is very heavy that I just pointed with the rage tower. So now what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get one side of this base with the RC, and don't forget the RC ability for those people who are not having the rocket spur, or sorry, the haste ball and having the rocket spur. This RC ability sometimes you may forget it, so watch out for that. And obviously, as you can see, we grab the town hall with just an extra invis to redirect the RC and recall. Now that we got so much value on this side, if you start your Sui into this lower side, there is just so much damage. That way your Sui might not be able to handle it. But from the top side, we're gonna send the Sui, and one thing we do is that I try to keep them alive. So we're not gonna sit back and watch them for a long time. We could do it, but we're not gonna do it, because then they'll start to die. Now look at this poison spell value, beautifully placed on those stuff. And now once these defenses are down, one thing you can do very cleverly with this troop, the Ram Rider, is that whenever the defense is down and the other ones are the opposite side, you can actually send a Ram Rider and open the compartments for your heroes. That way you can actually pop the king ability slightly deeper into the base, and you can see now we're gonna start. But one thing is for sure is that, guys, this guy had a lot of traps on both of these corners. So once you see these traps, you have to go with the Warden ability, and this is why we got the healing tome. It can heal through that entire side of the base and make sure you rush through it so you can reach, you know, the perfect area of the base as you wish to. Queen ability, make sure you pop her before she goes way too low on the HP. Usually if she does that, then a ricochet cannon or a scatter shot can really finish off your main queen. Like, you don't really want that to happen. And this one, due to all of the traps we went through with the troops, it still tripled with this much amount of Ram Riders and Warden and the Queen. This is why I'm telling you, like, if you go through the entire 8 giant bombs with all the army, you're still gonna triple. It's insane, as I told you. It's absolutely crazy, but it works very good. You have to go and try it right now in a friendly challenge, and if you loved it, go for it in Legends and Wars. But we're gonna move on to the third hit. So up next, we're gonna have a weird base, because not a lot of people might be in high legends or something, and so many people may be average players who are just, you know, just cruising down the mid and low legends, and these are the type of bases they may be getting. So what I like to do is to never drop the RC into anywhere around the major parts of the damage. What we do is to grab the little area of the base which has less damage visually and try to redirect the RC into whatever is in the core, just like we did on the last base. It was a town hall. Here we're gonna redirect her. On the first base, we redirected her into the multi-inferno. As you can see, we're simply just trying to get whatever we can from the core and either one of these sides. Once you got the value, as I told you, sometimes you need to adjust to where the RC is being recalled. So in this space, I'm going to send the Sui heroes into these areas, because if you see the lower side, we have like these defenses that the queen cannot reach, and you have to waste a wall breaker into it. It won't be ideal. So what I do is sending the queen around the area where she can reach everything. Now you're gonna see why I run that giant thrower, because it's just amazing, man. Look at this. Look at this little ball. 1, 2, and 3. Boom. It's open. It's crazy. Maybe double wall breaker wouldn't open that. There is fire splitters, Teslas, and the multi-inferno, but the giant just gives you that value. Plus, you don't have to invest dark elixir on the super troops. Now, once the king and queen are doing their thing, you can see how this area is so damaged. So what I do is to never dive into it. Just dive opposite side and finish on that side of the base. So on this case, going into this side with the mini warden on the army, he can follow up sometimes. You know, obviously the Ram Riders are too quick, but it's fine. They are fine. Queen ability and the king ability, they did their job. I'm not really annoyed with how much value they got, to be honest. It is what it is. Now this is where, because we went into a lower side damage of the base, we can keep the warden ability for the higher side damage of the base. And look at the rage warden ability healing tome combo, cruising through the back end with spells, with literally near 15 to 18 of these Ram Riders. And that is just insane. Like, as I told you, if there is no 8 giant bombs that you have to go through, and if even with that you will still triple, but if there isn't, you will crush every single base with this army. And it's absolutely insane how it works, and I love it because it's a bit different. I know it has the RC charge, but the sweet part just gives you that little bit of the enjoyment that, oh my god, I'm grabbing half the base with only 3 heroes. So yeah, we're gonna dive into one more hit and show you the real power of this army. So we're gonna have a base right here, which, as you can see, there's a lot of value down here, but a lot of you know me, I don't like to go for values with my RC. I like to just grab simple stuff, and the more easier path I see that it's not been easy for the builder to make. Obviously, as you can see, builders trying to move you around the monolith, but I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna redirect the RC. It is what it is. Grab the monolith and move on. Simple as that. All this side of the base, the opposite side, you can go with the Ram Riders. And look, we're gonna redirect again into the town hall because we do have the invisibility spells for it. So why not to do that? I double tapped it, Fat Finger that invisibility spell into the base. And yes, we are going to now go with the queen value on this side. As you can see, we don't have defenses on the side where the queen cannot reach. The defenses here the queen can reach. Also, the siege barracks will give us a nice funnel. Golem going into the base, king going into the base, wizard to funnel them. Obviously, it's a party wizard because it's faster and it's easier. Going with that funnel, they are going in. So I'm gonna zoom out here a bit. Now you might be wondering, which side do I start the troops? Well, as you can see, just like the other base, because the heroes are just fine and simply moving through, I'm gonna adjust the army with them so they can move through together. If you start your army from the top side, it will just be a weird path for them to go through the base and the heroes will be alone. So try to just move with your heroes. Simple as that. Going with the main army, Warden, RC obviously, and some headhunters for the minion prince. You can pop early Warden ability, you can keep the Warden for slightly bits in the core, rage everything always. You can also use the rage spell, guys, for the queen ability. So once you pop the magic mirror and the action figure, if you see there's a lot of value, for example you're in the core, drop the rage for her and maybe even keep an invisibility so you can have her invisible, crushing that value for you. And just look at this, man. Like, you don't need any value for the RC charge itself, but if you wish to, you can obviously grab, like, if we didn't grab the Town Hall, Queen would have grabbed it, or the troops would have just dived into it. There's no point of like having a crazy value RC charge. We can have a simple funnel and then adjust to that funnel with the Sui, and also then adjust the Sui with the main army. This strategy just works really well, and it reminds me of like hog rider attacks, super hog or twin hog attacks, some nice Sui values, and it's just fun, man. It's honestly so fun. So use it before Supercell nerfs it. I don't think they're gonna nerf it, but still, make sure you use code BLUE in the store. It will help us out a lot, and we'll see you soon in the next video. Take care and peace.